Good afternoon, folks. Happy Monday. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the NFL Combine as it's starting here and what the Lions fans need to be watching for and what the Lions will be looking for. Ben Johnson, he speaks on the Lions' new OC in a positive manner. Free agent targets. We got 3 specific ones from Big Media. 2 are the question mark in that list. Free agent offensive tackle. Could the Lions be targeting a specific one in the NFC North? And Jamal Adams speaks about an NFL issue. But before we get into today's video, if you think it's a smart and sound idea to have toast in a bathtub, go ahead and subscribe to my channel because we talk all things Detroit Lions news and rumors. Sometimes being a Lions fan, you get electrified. Also, take that like button with you. Let that bad boy get fried. Let's get into today's Lions news. All right, folks, what is the biggest part of the Detroit Lions' ability to acquire more talent for a roster? Well, it's the NFL Combine, and that's where we can evaluate some talent. And here are the dates for you folks so you can get ready for it. The NFL Combine starts on February 26th. See the defensive line and linebackers drill at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Absolutely, Lions will be watching for that. 2 positions the Lions really need. Friday, defensive backs and tight ends drill at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, Lions will be watching that quite a bit. Saturday, we got the quarterbacks and running backs and wide receivers. We like to watch all that one. And the offensive line drills where the Lions, most definitely, this team is going to be watching a lot. Because the Combine is where Brad Holmes gets better. That's his thing. His thing is the draft. He loves the draft. He acquires players in the draft. And there is a lot of talent that you should be watching in the NFL Combine because very well, good chance, specific players, maybe in the offensive line, future Detroit Lions. He's going to want to watch that. Folks, go ahead and join the channel. It's joining the family. All you got to do is hit that join button, $1.99. You could be part of the family. Exclusive live streams and all of that. Ben Johnson, he spoke to the media about the Lions' new OC, and it's actually positive from his perspective. He says, I think he's going to blow those players away just from the knowledge standpoint, from a connection standpoint. Johnson said, I fully expect the offense to be clicking at a high level next year. It wouldn't surprise me a bit, and I think there's a reason why Dan Campbell, from what I could gather, cast a wide net for offensive coordinator job, and Drew hit the right notes in terms of what he was looking for. I could see being a great fit, knowing Dan, knowing Drew both. I think it's probably a match made in heaven. I hope so. Look, Ben Johnson's very intellectual, smart. He's an individual that is all about the details. So when he says that, it does reaffirm everything that we have heard, how detail-oriented Drew Petzing is. How, he really thinks outside the box. Not saying it's going to work or, it's going to work out right. Obviously, you don't know that. It's just someone's perspective. And obviously, Ben Johnson is biased as well, because they're best friends. And still, any positive vibe, I'm going to throw it out there, so that's always a good thing. Also, it's nice to see now we got a friendly competition going with Ben Johnson. I don't think there's really that much hate there. Now, I do think that there's a lot of hate with the Green Bay Packers. Now, remember in the last couple of years when Ben Johnson was here, every offseason we kept hearing anonymous general manager, anonymous this. End up being the Packers. So there is a legit hatred between Ben Johnson, his staff, and the Packers, and potentially the Lions staff and the Packers. You kind of see a little, you think there'd be a rivalry with the Lions and Bears with all what took place with Ben Johnson coming to Detroit, but to be honest with you, I didn't really see much of a rivalry. Not the fact that we just won, but is just more these guys are just competing. It's a different type of feel to it. We got free agency coming up, and obviously this is the big portion of this video. Rumors came out Sunday that Taylor Decker potentially could be retiring, and the Lions are looking for tackles in free agency. One of the biggest names on the market is Rasheed Walker, a tackle from the Green Bay Packers. So, addition by subtraction from that sense. His top name on the market at the left tackle position is one Lions fans have become familiar with. That's Rasheed Walker. Lions fans may know Walker from his early season declaration that the then 2-0 Green Bay Packers would go undefeated. You never really want to go with the undefeated thing, man. It always comes back to bite you. You know, you're always doing all that. But based on PFF grades, he falls shorter than Decker, a 64.6 with a overall grade of a 67.9 in 2025. Walker's interior run blocking is 55.4 compared to Taylor Decker's 62.1. But on the flip side, Walker's pass blocking is 70.0, and that's just a little bit higher than Taylor Decker's 69.5. So, what I'm trying to say is, Walker is a little bit less than Taylor Decker. With that said, he's 26 years old. And that is a good part if the Lions were to go ahead and go this route and pick up him in free agency, as he's younger. But again, beggars can't be choosers, and if you look at the free agent market, it's not the greatest in the world. It just is not. Again, go ahead and join the fam. All you got to do is hit that join button, and you could be part of the channel. Free agents. 3 free agent. 1 we've been talked about, but 2 completely off the market. I'm talking about that the Lions should sign for all in moves. And the first one that they got from SI.com from Vito Churko is Trey Hendrickson. We've talked about him endlessly. Don't want to put any more time on this one. Number 2, we throw out the interesting one. Mike Evans, wide receiver. That's what he's saying. Go all in to get Mike Evans. Well, we have St. Brown. We have Jamison Williams. We spent 3 third-round picks on Isaac Tesla. If we're going to go all in free agency, wide receiver better not be that position that we do it in, considering we need safety, tackle, center, edge, linebacker. Next player that they have an all-in move, we're getting right to it again. Alex Pierce, wide receiver from the Colts. What the hell is going on? We don't need a receiver. We definitely do not need a receiver. And I do not believe the Lions go all in on these moves. This little section here was to just tell you what I think they do not do. Now, Trey Hendrickson, that could be, that's a possible one, right? That's possible. Still doubts. Injuries to the hip, 31 years old. And there's going to be other competition for Hendrickson. But you talk about Mike Evans. What in the hell? What the? We got a great wide receiver core. Pierce, we got a great wide receiver core. I would rather go in a different direction to get this team better. And yes, we got to do the latest on Maxx Crosby. It's a quick little segment here. But this is the latest rumors coming out. Detroit Lions, Chicago Bears, and Seattle Seahawks are 3 of many teams that could have interest in Las Vegas Raiders star edge rusher Maxx Crosby if he hits the trade block this offseason for Mike Moritzis. Now, look, the reason why I want the Lions to try is because 20 some other teams are going to try. Do I think that the Lions land him? I don't. Not because the Lions will not have tried. It's because there's other teams that have the ability to get it done far more than the Lions. We've seen the Bears on this list that they talked about, the Seattle Seahawks, Dallas Cowboys. That's just the NFC. You can go through the AFC as well. But the Lions have a lot of holes. It doesn't seem like this is a situation that they're going to go. Still, I do believe that they should try. I think it absolutely is a detriment to the team if you're like, you know what, we're not going to try at all. We're good with what we got. That's a detriment. Try and fail. We here in Detroit will be okay with that. So what team do you think is going to land Maxx Crosby guess. Whenever the trade does happen, we'll come back to see if you're correct. Now, former Lions safety Jamal Adams talked about a former player who no longer is with us, and it's sad. You know, depression and pain is sad. And this is what Jamal Adams had to say with Rondale White, unfortunately, rest in peace, is no longer with us. They say they throw more fuel in the fire that's already been burning, not even knowing what a player is dealing with behind closed doors. The extra noise hits different when you're already fighting your own battle, folks. This is why I keep talking about we got to be a little bit easier on some of these guys. Not in a sense that we can't dog their game. Absolutely. We should hit them with their game and the play on the field. But in no way, shape, or form should we get it personal. No way, shape, or form, I think organizations should push people to push their bodies past what they can do physically, what they can do. Anybody that's had severe injuries, severe surgeries, and sometimes they don't heal, not just the body, but the mind is absolutely destroyed. If you've got an injury out there, significant injury, you know what I'm talking about. I've had a double neck fusion. I've had multiple surgeries. Now, I am not an individual that has to deal with pain like 24/7. There's people with MS. There's people with some real issues. And football players, especially if they have a lot of surgeries like Rondale Moore did, I mean, my God. You know, if the stuff doesn't heal, it's a legit mind F because it never ends, right? So I think when it comes to these guys, folks, when it comes to injuries, some of these players retire early if they're dealing with something, man, we can't get too upset about this. You got to understand that just because you have money, just because you're athletic, you're in the NFL, it doesn't mean that the pain is not there. Legit injuries, doesn't matter how much money you have. The pain will not go away sometimes. And we got to keep that in mind. Depression is a real thing, especially when someone's going through stuff. But, rest in peace, Rondale Moore. I loved you coming out of college. And hopefully your family has, all the prayers in the world. Adios.